Hi everyone, this is my fight on the challenge from Bahamut Lufenia stage, and as always before going to the battle I'll be covering a brief overview of the fight mechanics as well as the party setup that I used to complete the fight. I will also include a timestamp in the video description, so if you are interested in specific sections you can use the timestamp to jump ahead. So this fight is a single wave comprising of a single monster, just Neo Bahamut. But it is quite a tricky fight depending on who you have available to use. Now first of all, Neo Bahamut is extremely resistant to physical and melee and ranged. So magic users are a way to go. That being said, the banner available for draw features characters that can imperil and enchant. Chief of which of course is Kuja, who can imperil Holy and enchant the entire party with Holy, and Neo Bahamut is also weak to the Holy element. So if you bring in one of these enchanter or imperiler such as Kuja, you can still use melee or range units because they will bypass the resistances. As with all Lufenia stage, Neo Bahamut has an orb, and this orb is a little bit tricky because the only way to increase the count is by doing holy damage, and even then holy damage just increases the count by 1, and because during your turn after you take an action you will decrease the count by 1. This means that if your characters are hitting for holy damage, you will just net neutral turn, meaning the orb counter will not go up or down. But when Bahamut takes a turn, the counter will tick down by 2, which means that the counter will slowly tick down even if you are doing holy damage with your entire party. But the counter starts off at a 20 count, so you have quite a lot of room before it ticks down to 0. At the start, the orb will be present, but it goes away at 80%, and therefore from 80% to 50% you have a so-called honeymoon period where the orb wouldn't appear. Once Bahamut reaches 49% and below, the orb will appear again and will not disappear until Bahamut dies. So for this fight, it's recommended if you have burst as well as your summon to use them once Bahamut is below 50%, because both summon and burst animations will freeze the orb countdown, which gives you that precious few additional turns to burst down Neo Bahamut. Now beyond that, in terms of the attacks, Bahamut will always start the Lufenia fight by summoning dragonstars and inflicting lock on your party members. And the way the dragonstar mechanic works is that every turn when the dragonstars are up, during your turn they will have a sap effect and will sap roughly about 8,000 to 8,500 brave for each of them. And because your party is inflicted by lock and there's no way to prevent lock, even debuff immunity will not prevent lock. This means that you cannot actually target the dragonstars with single target attacks. So the way to get around this is to incorporate at least one, or ideally more than one, AoE brave shaving attacks in your party, because AoE brave shaving attacks will bypass lock and will be able to allow you to brave shave the dragonstars and hopefully kill them before they get too dangerous. Now when the dragonstars are up, it's ideal to quickly damage them down with AoE HP attacks as well, because if you look at their attacks, they only have 3 attacks and 2 of the 3 are HP attacks, and the third one in particular, self-destruct, is very devastating because not only is it a group brave and HP attack, it will also dispel all buffs on your entire party, including frame buffs, which can be very dangerous. So the ideal way is to quickly kill off the dragonstars before they can unleash this attack. Note also that the dragonstars as far as Bahamut, they cannot use Vigor or Self-Destruct if they are of course inflicted with HP attack disable. And notably also, Bahamut himself has quite a number of HP attacks, like its signature Mega Flare, as well as of course it also has a recast ability, which is a Brave plus HP attack, and resulting in it summoning Dragonstar after the attack. So if it's afflicted by HP attack disable, it will prevent it from using this attack. Note though that it has a Giga Flare plus, and this attack actually dispels all its own debuffs, and it does this before it does its attack. So Giga Flare plus can bypass HP attack disable, but other than that, using HP attack disable will significantly reduce a lot of the risk associated with this fight. So coming to the party composition that I decided to use, first of all, Kuja. Not only is he very powerful, but he can of course enchant wholly to the entire party, which helps you manage to significantly delay the orb countdown and allow you to damage and kill Bahamut before the orb ticks down to 0. For Aphmau, she's my second choice, mainly because she has the AoE Brave Shaving in her converted HP attack after she uses her EX, and her S2 also does splash damage onto the Dragonstars. But more importantly, she has debuff immunity that she can grant to the party. Now, although debuff immunity cannot prevent lock, it can prevent HP poison. Bahamut can inflict 2 turns of HP poison to your entire party, which does significant amounts of HP poison, but will not be able to kill you through that ability alone. So HP poison can only bring you down to 1 HP at the most, but HP poison itself can be prevented by Aphmau's debuff immunity. So for that, I decided to bring in Aphmau. For my third character, I chose to bring in Kefka for a few reasons. First of all, Kefka's 2 skills, Trine and Light of Judgment, are AoE, Brave, and HP attacks, which helps you to Brave Shave the Dragonstars when they are in the field. And of course, he can inflict debuffs and the precious HP attack disable, as I mentioned earlier. So for that, I think he deserves a spot on the team. He also does nice splash damage on his EX, and I happen to have his burst weapon, which allows me to use burst mode later in the fight. So in terms of summon boards, I only have 9 out of 10 because I have not yet grinded Bahamut's summon board, but otherwise all the characters are fully boarded up till the Odin summon board. And there are of course 3-3, and both Kuja and Kefka also have their LD, and Kefka has his burst weapon equipped. For summon, I was thinking about which summon to use, but I decided to go with Brothers, mainly to raise my max brave. So with that, let's move into the fight. See you there. Okay, so starting off, Bahamut will always get the first turn, and he will use it to immediately summon the Dragonstars and inflict lock on your entire party. So you need to quickly shave the Dragonstars as well as bring them down before they start hitting you with their HP attacks. So I use Light of Judgment with Kefka, but I think if you can't get another turn with Kefka before they act, it's better to use Trine to inflict HP attack disable so that the Dragonstars can't attack your party members. So you see here, I couldn't use Trine in time and I ate 2 HP attacks, but at the start of the fight it's not too dangerous, and Aphmau will be able to heal you right after anyway. So I now inflict Trine, and I'll be able to use Hyperdrive next to enframe all the debuffs. You can see also that the dragon stars don't really have a lot of HP, so just using a couple of AoE HP attacks is enough to bring them down. And of course Kuja is perfect for this because he has a lot of group attacks in his arsenal that does a lot of damage. With Kuja, it's important to immediately start off with his LD so that the entire party gets holy attack enchant. And it's important to space out his LD so that you get the holy enchant for the entire fight. This will allow you to keep the orb countdown as stagnant as possible. You have quite a lot of room here, so even if Bahamut takes quite a few turns, you should be able to kill him off before the orb ticks down to 0. And therefore, as long as you use Kuja correctly, you should not be able to face the Giga Flare Plus, which is the orb countdown attack, at all. It's also important to at least somewhat save Kefka's Trine ability, especially for the Dragon Stars, so that you never have to face the self-destruct ability ever. So at the first phase of the fight, you only need to bring Bahamut down to 79% to make the orb disappear. So once you inflict the debuffs the first time, with Kefka, it's then just a matter of applying slow and steady DPS until he goes down to 79%. Now, only something I realized during the fight is that here I used trying to inflict HP attack disable, but I think this is a mistake. The one thing that I did not notice until the fight is that at the 79% and 49% health, Bahamut will actually cleanse all of its debuffs. So at this stage, it's very close to 79% and it will cleanse all debuffs. And it's really a waste of trying. It's better to wait until it hits here. So he used Dragon's King Revelation, and you can see all the debuffs are gone. So on hindsight, looking at this, if you are using Kefka after the first Light of Judgment, Trine, and Hyperdrive, it's better to wait until Bahamut hits 79% health before you repeat the cycle again to reapply all the debuffs. Also at 79% health, Bahamut automatically resummons the dragon stars. So it's really, this is the best time to reapply all the debuffs with Kefka, including Trine for the HP attack disable. I got a bit greedy here. I could have used Trine here to inflict HP attack disable, but I decided to take a risk and use Kefka's EX instead, because I saw that Kefka could get another turn before the dragon stars get to act. But because I did that, I actually allow the Neo Bahamut to use Giga Flare, its recast ability. But I think that's okay, because I'm at full health, I should be able to survive the Giga Flare anyway. And Aphmau can heal the party right after. So here I eat the Giga Flare attack. Because Bahamut is inflicted with the debuffs, it didn't do a lot of damage. But note also that the Giga Flare has removed all its debuffs, so luckily I can now actually apply Trine and prevent the Dragon Stars from attacking. So you can see here the idea is that once the dragon stars are up, you hit them with HP attack disable to prevent them from HP attacking, and you use the 2 turns it gives you to quickly burst them down with Kuja's and Aphmau's AoE attack. So this is really somewhat of a honeymoon phase. You don't have to go crazy on the DPS because you do need to burn Neo Bahamut down once it's below 50%. So from this phase of the fight, I would recommend to just apply steady DPS without going too crazy on skill users. Okay, so 49% health, same thing again. Bahamut cleanses all its debuffs and resummons the dragon stars. So this is where you want to quickly reapply the debuffs with Kefka. Now, unfortunately, I have took out Kefka and put in the friend support unit, which is another Kuja. So if you do this, this is really the best time to use summon to buy you the additional turns. And hopefully Kuja will be able to come back in time to use Trine. Using a Kuja friend support unit, also I think the best time to bring the support Kuja in is when you need to burst down the dragon stars, because Kuja is really very strong in AoE HP attacks. And you can use this to quickly kill off the dragon star so that you can get back to focusing on Neo Bahamut without too much of a problem. Alternatively, because Kuja's LD does a lot of damage, particularly to single targets, another viable strategy I think is also to bring in the support Kuja when Bahamut is alone and spam his LD. And if you have a friend support unit that has burst, 3 turns of LD and 1 turn of burst equates to more than 1 million damage, which is quite significant. Right, so here I eat a Mega Flare, but Mega Flare is doesn't have a brave attack component to it, so it's just 2 HP dumps. So it's a HP dump, brave battery into another HP dump. So the damage it does is rather fixed. And you can see it does about half my total HP. So the key is that as long as you're topped off before Mega Flare hits, you'll be able to survive the attack. And Aphmau can quickly heal the team after the attack. Now, you might be wondering here, why did I use the friend support AA? The main reason is I wanted to burn his turn so that Kefka comes back, because Bahamut is about to get its turn and it has a full recast bar. So I was worried that the dragonstars will reappear back. I tried to use Kefka's burst here because I wanted to try to inflict HP attack disable on Neo Bahamut, because I was thinking that it will then prevent him from using Giga Flare, and I can then HP attack lock him all the way down to 0. So here I fully expect HP attack disable to kick in, but strangely enough, he summoned Dragonstar again. So I'm not sure whether 25% is a trigger point for another round of Dragonstars. But regardless, this means that I need to quickly reapply Trine on all targets and lock it down with Hyperdrive again. Luckily, my Kefka managed to get 2 turns in, so I can comfortably do a Light of Judgment followed by Trine on all targets. And this will safeguard me from any HP attack until I kill off the Dragon Stars. Okay, so using the Aphmau, I managed to actually kill off the Dragon Stars with her. So it's just back to focusing on Neo Bahamut. At this point, it's just a matter of applying steady damage all the way down until Bahamut is dead. It's very close to 15% health also, and the orb counter still has 13, so I'm quite comfortable there even if Bahamut gets a few turns. And at this stage, I only have one more Trine, but I also have 2 more Hyperdrive, So I can actually lock down Bahamut by around 3 or 4 more turns, preventing it from unloading any HP attacks. And that's it. Thanks for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, do leave a like, comment or subscribe. Really helps a lot. Until then, I'll see you in the next Lufenia fight. Bye bye.